All right guys, to start off the video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox the welder. We're gonna get everything. I'm gonna show you guys everything that comes in this. Then we're gonna unbox this stand. We're gonna put the stand together. And then by the end of the video, you're gonna see this whole thing put together and in all its glory and all that good stuff. So let's start with the welder itself. All right, so what you're looking at here is the Harbor Freight Titanium MIG 140. This is a 120 volt welder. They also make a 120 and 240 volt version of this welder, and it can actually go up to 170 amps. So we got the 120 volt version here, 140 amps. It can do MIG and flux core, so MIG would be with the shielding gas. As far as welders go, this is probably the cheapest you can get a MIG gas welder. There is cheaper flux core welders you could go with, but if you want to just get into welding and get into gas welding specifically, I think this is the best bet as far as budget goes. The titanium flux core welder I already owned, which is the 125 flux. I've had this thing for several years and I've used the heck out of it, and it's been a solid machine. So I have a lot of faith in the titanium machine. So let's go ahead and get this open and I'll show you all everything it comes with. Now, if you're wanting to get into welding yourself, I think this would be a really good machine to start, or if you don't need the gas, go with the Flux 125. It is a lot cheaper, but if you want to try gas, this is probably your best bet. Okay, so you get a bunch of manuals and a quick start guide. This is your flux core tip. So when you put flux in the gun, you run this because you don't need the shielding gas thing. You also get an extra nozzle. This is a .030, and then you also get a different spool feeder thing, and it's actually knurled for the flux core. Comes with the regulator. We'll see how good this is. Sometimes the regulators that comes with the machines are good, sometimes they're crap, so we'll see how good this one is. I'm sure it'll be just fine. And then we have the welder itself. All right, so here's the back of the machine. Your on-off switch is right here, and then this is where you're gonna connect your gas feed line. It has a nice heavy-duty cord, and of course a 120 plug. You wanna make sure you run this on a 20 amp circuit. Here's the side of the machine. Looks like we have our MIG gun in here. Look at that guy, feels pretty nice. The other end. This is where you're gonna put your spool of wire. Here's your feed mechanism. It's all metal, so that looks like it'll be really heavy duty. Right here, it tells you exactly how to set it up. Should be pretty simple, even for first timers. I do believe they make this as easy as they can make it. And then right here is your kind of chart, your reference chart. You pick the material thickness, what type of welding you're doing, and it tells you exactly how to set it up. So if you follow this chart, from what I've heard from other reviews, it's pretty spot on, especially if you're just starting. Nice to see that. I'm definitely gonna use this. Okay, here we go at the front of the machine. So you're gonna put your MIG gun here. This goes to the gun itself. So basically the power is gonna come out of these two connections here. And then you can actually pick electronegative or electropositive, and this runs up into the feed mechanism where the gun is gonna actually attach to give your gun power. And then here's one other box I didn't show you guys. This box has your ground clamp. Looks like a pretty decent ground clamp. Sometimes they put really cheap ones, but this one looks like it'll work just fine. And then your actual gas hose. So this will attach to the regulator attached to your gas bottle of 75-25 mix. That's what I use. And then this will screw into the back of the machine. So I'm gonna show you guys all of that in this video. But yeah, guys, overall, the machine looks really nice. I'm really excited to try it out. It's really light. I mean, this isn't nothing. This is a solid state machine. There's not an actual transformer. It's all done with solid state electronics, so they can make this machines very lightweight. So this is your wire speed adjustment. This is like your MIG voltage, or basically welding power. And this is called inductance. And then this is called 2-tap or 4-tap. And basically what that allows you to do is, normally on your MIG gun, when you click and hold it, it feeds wire and welds, and when you let go, it stops. But when you set it to 4T, you can click it and it's gonna keep welding until you click off. So I've never used any of that kind of feature on any welder before. So it'd be kind of interesting to try that out. I can see that if you're doing longer welds, how that might be nice. But anyways, guys, that's the welder. I'm gonna go ahead and unpack and lay out everything for the cart. There's nothing really exciting to show you guys with the cart. So I'm more or less just gonna lay everything out, and then we're gonna assemble it, put the welder on it, get all this set up, and try out some welds. Okay, as far as welding carts go, Harbor Freight actually has a few different kinds. This is kind of like their mid-tier one. They have one that's cheaper than this that I actually have, that I've used for years, but I kind of wanted to try out something nice since we got a new machine, you know, nicer stand, kind of just upgrading. But there's nothing wrong with the cheap one. If you run the cheap one, I promise you it'll work just fine. Oh, that's cool. And then you can use this when you're done with it. That's kind of nice, I guess, versus little plastic bags. Nice, Harbor Freight. All right, I'm not gonna show the whole building process of this because it'd be kind of boring, but I'm gonna get this cart slapped together, and once I get it slapped together, I'll bring you guys back and I'll kind of show it off to y'all, and then we're gonna get it all set up. All right, guys, I got the cart all put together. This thing's freaking awesome. I really, really like it. Yeah, it's very smooth. We need to go ahead and take our gas bottle and get that mounted back there. What's up, boys? The boys wanted to come hang out in the garage. He's been snapping all the flies out of the air. He's a very good fly eater. RJ. 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 All right, now that the cart's together, we can go ahead and put our welder on there and then put this thing together. And then once you have the welder machine on the cart, there's a little stop right here. If you want, you can adjust this And what that's gonna do is gonna help keep the welder from sliding back and forth. So I will go ahead and tighten that because this is gonna be the cart I permanently keep this on. All right, as far as the main power cord goes, I'm probably gonna run this through here like that. And then I'm probably gonna put in a zip tie right here, but for now we're just gonna curl it up and hang it right here. Something like that. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the gas bottle on the back. And then you throw your safety chains around it. Where'd the other chain go? Bam, look at that. Take our regulator. Snug that guy up. Take our gas line. And then hold this with the crescent wrench on both sides so you don't break it. All right, same thing. I went ahead and looped the hose just around the cart a few times. We're gonna take this, install it on the back of the machine. And then I've actually set this up in a way to where this bar right here, you can actually move it to the other side of the cart, but you wanna have the cart where the welder opens at. You wanna have this be able to open like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and get the wire and the gun and everything put on. This just goes right in here, like so. Take this little electrical connector. That just clicks on, too easy. And then I'm gonna be doing normal MIG welding. So normal MIG welding is DC electrode negative. So this is gonna be your gun, and you're gonna go ahead and put this in the negative terminal, and your ground's actually gonna be your positive. And then if you use flux core, you flip that the other way around. So keep that in mind. The welder will tell you all that. Take my ground clamp, go ahead and hang it up. That's nice and neat like that. Okay, the MIG gun comes in right here, goes into here. All you have to do is tighten this little wing nut, make sure it's fully seated. That way you don't have any gas leaks. So that's good to go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my MIG gun and hang it up. I think that's probably my favorite part about this cart is there's so many little spots to hang stuff. I guess, yeah, that's what I like about it. Yoink. As far as loading wire up, there's like a big nut right here that's plastic. You go ahead and unscrew that. I personally run the 035, but I'm probably gonna get some 030. That guy goes on like that. It's reverse threads, by the way. All right, so I have my wire here. Flip up your feed mechanism. We're gonna start right here. So you gotta be careful with that, because if your roll unsprings, then you're kind of screwed. And then in order to put tension on your roll, that way it doesn't just spin freely, you go ahead and tighten this wing nut, and that'll add resistance to the roller. So that feels about good there. And that's pretty much it. This is ready to go. Now we gotta go to the gun, take the nozzle off, take the tip off, and feed the wire through the gun itself. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the machine in. First power up, let's see if it explodes. No explosion, good. Go ahead and pull the tip off the gun. It has an 030 already on it, so I'm gonna have to swap this out to an 035, not a problem. I'm sure I have one somewhere. Let me go find that real quick. Okay, I have my .035, so first you're gonna take the tip off. Okay, now we're gonna turn the machine to the on position. And then now I'm gonna turn the wire feed kind of high, and we're gonna feed the wire through the machine, or we're gonna feed it through the gun until it comes out, so, oh, it's not grabbing. Okay guys, all I had to do was, I did have to swap the roller up, but all you have to do is remove this. And if you look, I put the .35 one in there. Out of the box, I had the .30, so this machine's pretty well set up out of the box for .30 wire. All right, let's try this again. And that's it, you just hold it until it comes out of the gun. There it goes. Now you take your nozzle and go ahead and screw this on. And then you take your gas nozzle tip and this just slips on like so. Kind of give it a twist. And there you guys go. You are ready to weld. Probably snip that end off a little bit. All right guys, that's it. This thing is fully set up, fully assembled, ready to use. I took all the extra bits that it came with and I kind of just shoved them in there so I don't lose them, make sure they clear the wheel. We're good to go there. And then the instructions and all that, I kind of just stick under the machine, that way I don't lose it, and that should be fine there. All right guys, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this welder. Personally, if you're a hobbyist, maybe doing a little bit of automotive work or anything like that, I think this is a really good machine. If you're wanting to learn to weld, I also think this is a really good machine for that. If you're building bridges or something, you probably wanna get something a little bit heavier duty, but I think for the money and how easy it is to set up and how easy it is to use once you learn to weld a little bit, I think it's a great machine. If you want to learn to weld, I would suggest just checking out some YouTube videos. Honestly, there's two types of people in this world, people who can weld and people who want to know how to weld. So if you want to learn how to weld, get yourself something like this, or maybe even the little flux core machine, or even the $100 flux core machine that Harbor Freight sells. Get a spool wire, get some scrap metal, and just start sticking stuff together, and I promise you'll pick it up quicker than you think. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it. You'll probably see this a lot more on the channel because this is going to be my main welder for all the fabrication projects. You guys have seen all the solar pergola stuff we built, the battery cars we build, all that's going to be built with this from now on. And I have a bunch of ideas for a bunch of future projects. So we will see in the long term how this machine holds up, and I'm super excited to get some hours on the machine. Anyways, let me know if y'all got something out of this. Let me know what you guys want to see me build or do with this thing. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. If you need help, let me know, and I'll try to do my best to help you guys out. Like always, thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP, and I'll see you all in the next one.